Today I'm going to talk about Loveboat Taipei, and I do want to make a disclaimer that I read this a couple weeks ago, so my memory of it might not be the best, but I wrote down how I felt, or what I wanted to talk about, but I never got to it until now, 2 weeks later. Loveboat Taipei is about this girl. Her name is Ever. She's an Asian American, and it's basically her coming of age story, her finding herself, finding new things, you know. Yep, okay. I guess the first thing that I wrote down here is her parents slash the future. Very stereotypical, but her parents want her to become a doctor while she wants to become a professional dancer. Might sound a little bit like me. She got into Northwestern to become a doctor, and she also got into Tisch. I guess it's like a dancing school. I don't know. I'm not too familiar with school. Right after she got to Northwestern, she got a letter from Tisch saying that she was accepted. And as that was happening, she was like leaving the house. And while she was gone, her mom found the letter, and her mom went out to go find her. And her mom ripped the letter right in front of her face. And she told Ever that they're gonna send her to Taiwan. I realized I didn't explain why her parents were sending her to Taipei, and that is because they're sending her to like the summer school program where they want her to learn Mandarin and Chinese medicine. What they didn't know is that the kids call it Loveboat. That's where they meet other Asian Americans. I don't think not only Asian Americans, because I think there was like a French Asian that was there too. That's where they all like hook up and stuff. And Sophie said that usually people with girlfriends or boyfriends end up breaking up with them because they find someone else at Loveboat. So that all happened very fast, very quickly. She battles between what she wants to do and essentially what her parents want her to do. It might be obvious for her to choose what she wants to do over what her parents want to do, but she always thinks about how much her parents have sacrificed for them to come to America and stuff like that, which is totally relatable. In Taiwan, she finds her culture. She talked about being too Asian in America, while in Taiwan she felt too American. And I totally 100% felt that. I guess we'll talk about the characters now, because that's where I went off to. I started off with Sophie, which was her best friend and her roommate. And I didn't even talk about Ever. Ever is really like, I don't want to call her stereotypical, but she is very stereotypical. Since she grew up in like a strict household, she always had to have good grades. Her parents only let her do dance because it would look good on her college application, and yeah, she's never had a boyfriend. She doesn't party, she doesn't drink. Sounds like someone. So the first person I'm going to talk about is Sophie, and the first thing I put is that she's a little toxic. She's very the opposite of Ever. Like, what's the word? Supervision? She doesn't have supervision. Yeah, that's the word. Just gets to do whatever she wants. Because of this, Ever makes a list of rules that she wants to break during her trip. I think it was under the influence of Sophie, because she's like, wow, Sophie does all this and I haven't done anything, you know? I'm not saying that like drinking is bad, partying is bad. Like, if you want to do that, you do you. If you don't want to do that, you do you too. Ever realized later in the book that the list of rules to break was more of what her parents didn't want her to do rather than things that she wanted to do, you know? You know what I mean? Is it Xavier or Xavier? I, in my head, call him Xavier, so that's how I'm gonna say it. But she started dating Xavier. She always talked about all the things that they've done, like they did it. Later on, Xavier said that they never did that stuff. And I don't know who to believe. I only believe Xavier because Sophie's a little toxic. But also Xavier was put out to be like a fuckboy. And we never got an explanation about what actually happened between them two. Like, who was right? Maybe we did and I just wasn't paying attention and I'm just dumb. But I'm still a little confused there. Xavier's also the son of a CEO, I think. He's the son of someone very rich. That makes him rich. So Sophie would always ask him to buy her stuff, which is a little toxic if you ask me. Sophie and Ever had a photo shoot, and for one of Sophie's outfits, she came out without any clothes on. Ever found the courage to do the same thing. Once Ever came out and she like did her thing, Sophie got really annoyed and she wanted to leave. She was not amused and she was silent. She was just mad, I guess, that Ever did the same thing or something like that. I don't know. I don't know why she was mad. She should be encouraging. Later on, in parentheses I put for reasons I'll speak on later, Sophie spreads Ever's nude pictures. After that, Ever was banned from a ballet studio she joined. Ever had to call her parents, and her parents tried to bring her back home because they're like, you're doing all this stuff while you're out there in Taiwan. We wanted you to learn about the culture, and you're out here taking nude pictures and sneaking out to bars, you know, stuff like that. She basically couldn't leave the dorm without like someone's permission, and she couldn't go out anymore unless it was school related. And then Sophie didn't get any penalties at all. But then later on, Ever forgives Sophie. For what? For friendship? That's not okay. She literally leaked her nudes. She couldn't dance. She almost got kicked out of the program. She couldn't go out anymore. Even though I don't know why she would do that, honestly, I'd probably do the same thing. I'd be like, yeah, it's fine. You spread my nudes, whatever. You got me kicked out, whatever. I'm banned, whatever. It's fine. We're friends. Pinky promise. We're gonna talk about Rick / Boy Wonder. We're gonna call him Brick because it combines the two, and in my opinion, he's kind of boring. So boring Rick, Brick, Boy Wonder, Brick, Brick. It just makes sense in my head. Ever was always compared to this boy that was like a prodigy. Was it like violin or piano? But he was always in like the newspapers, and her parents would always compare her to him. So that boy was Brick. Where he's going to college after the summer is Yale, and he's gonna go play football, so he's a jock. I always forget that he's a jock, but I don't know how I could forget because she was always just like, he smells like grass and dirt. He has a depressed girlfriend that we will talk about later, or right now. Should we talk about it right now? I think they were childhood friends, or they were like neighbors or something, and they started dating, and then he tried to break up with her, and then she's just like, I'm gonna kill myself, which is actually a really serious situation, and he should have gotten help, but he didn't, or he tried to. Oh my god, I don't remember what happened. I know he didn't tell her parents. It's just a very serious situation that I don't feel necessarily comfortable talking about. Basically, she was just very depressed, and he couldn't break up with her because he felt bad about leaving her. In my eyes, he really was like a big brother to Ever, and I was fine with that. But then Ever picked Brick over Xavier, and Xavier was introduced as like a fuckboy. Major second lead syndrome. I said he was introduced as a playboy, but turns out to be a soft boy, frowny face. And it's true! He secretly drew pictures of Ever and like slipped it under her door. Maybe it's a little creepy, but he was basically like her secret admirer, I guess. I thought it was kind of cute. He sent her a rug that Sophie took from her. He said that the rug had a big E on it, but then when Ever woke up, Sophie already had the rug, and I guess Sophie hid that from her, like the big E or something like that. So Sophie took Ever's rug that was from Xavier. He's dyslexic, and his dad just calls him dumb. He practices his writing. Him, Ever, Sophie, and Brick go to Auntie Claire's house. Sophie and Xavier are together, but at this point, we know they didn't sleep together. Or maybe they did. Or maybe they didn't. During this trip, Ever and Xavier kissed, and that's when / why Sophie spreads Ever's nude photos. Ever and Xavier were like talking in the middle of the night because they couldn't sleep, and that's when Ever found out that Xavier was dyslexic and he was practicing his handwriting, and then they got close and they kissed, and then Sophie walked in and she screamed, and then everything went down. Xavier and Brick got into a fight, not because Xavier and Ever kissed, but because when Brick got back on campus and saw Ever's photos, he assumed Xavier let them out. I don't know why Brick thought that Xavier spread her photos after they kissed. Did anyone else even know about the photo shoot and what happened in the photo shoot besides Sophie and Ever? Brick may be a prodigy, but he also is not very smart. Anyway, maybe I just don't like Brick. After this trip, Brick goes to Hong Kong to meet with his girlfriend, which makes Ever upset, and that leads to Ever and Xavier doing the dirty, the devil's tango. She left him in the morning, so she used him. They didn't even talk about it afterwards. She didn't apologize for using him. She didn't apologize for essentially leading him on after that kiss. And then after they did the dirty, she didn't even thank him for a good night. I remember they went on a school trip to a museum. They were talking about this little like statue thing. He came up to her and told her a fact or something. He said, didn't mean anything to you? And she's like, what, the statue? She knew what he was asking about, and she just didn't want to answer the question. She did not want to own up to her responsibilities. She didn't want to own up to what she did to him. That's just not right. He also asked why jocks get everything that they want. No, it's kind of sad. Brick's just uninteresting. Xavier and Ever tutor each other for a little bit. She helps him with writing, and he helps her with Mandarin. He continued to draw her, and she's just like, you can't do that anymore. Afterwards, he drew her and Brick together. It's been broke so many times. I just need justice for Xavier. Oh my god, did I say this? When Brick got back from Hong Kong, he told Ever that he broke up with his girlfriend, and then they started dating. They started dating after he broke up with his girlfriend, who was depressed. Is that okay? Is that okay? It's unhealthy if it's a one-sided relationship, but I feel like he shouldn't have moved on so fast, or as fast as he did, just to get to Ever. And I don't know if what I'm saying is right, because I've never been in a relationship before, and I don't know, it just feels really wrong. Yeah, after Brick got back from Hong Kong, he like told Ever that he loved her, and I was like, this is just wild. I just want Xavier to know that he's loved. At the end, she stands up to her parents and tells them that she's not going to be a doctor, and that she's going to take a gap year and teach at the local dance studio. And at the end, she's with Brick. So yeah, I don't know if I enjoyed it or not. I think I just wanted to know what happened in the end. Some things she did and what other people did, I just don't agree with. I don't know what to tell you. Would I read it again? Maybe. Or somebody else can read it and just tell me what happened. If I'm wrong, and I probably am wrong, and I just missed that. Okay, I'm gonna give myself 3 stars to work with, because I know if I give myself 5 stars, I would just give a lot of the books 3 stars. 3, 4, or 5 stars, never 2. I'll give this book 1 star. That pains me. It's so low, but it is 1 out of 3. If you're looking to read it, I would suggest to read it. I don't know if you would read it after what I just told you, but there is a lot more that happened. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.